Welcome to the Big Fat Real Estate Checks podcast with Marco Kozlowski, where we help investors like you get the knowledge and skills you need to replace your JOB with passive cash flow for life.
Hey, Marco here. I really wanted to share with you our earlier podcast that we created. Now, our mics were not the best, but the content was really strong, and I know you will learn a lot. We had an absolute blast recording this, and I know you're absolutely going to love it as much as we loved recording it. This extremely content-rich information will not only give you the edge in your real estate investing business, but in everyday life. Enjoy. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about mindset and how to handle negative people around your life, how you should handle negative people around your life, and also how to behave in a better position, a better situation on a daily basis, and how to really take the few minutes that you have on a daily basis, which we discussed on a previous podcast, do something a little bit different every day, and really try on ideas like you do try on new clothes, like say a jacket. Am I going to go to a jacket store, grab the jacket, put it on the counter, and not even try it on? No. I try it on first, see how it feels, and if I don't like it, then I'm going to take it off. But most people don't even try new ideas on. They just say, no, that's not going to fit, no, that's not going to work. And they're not even open to the concept of change or doing new things. And if you don't change, the world will change around you and you will be left behind. There's an interesting book called Who Moved My Cheese, which actually discusses that, which I think I made both of you read when I first met you.
Mandatory.
It's a mandatory reading. If you end up working with me, that's something that you absolutely have to read, and you have to read it every year because every year you get something new out of it. Great book. And Who Moved My Cheese? I highly recommend it. So let's talk about
quick read too. I was gonna say.
Yeah, it's and for some are slower than others at reading, but you should be able to do it.
Actually, you know what? I YouTubed it. I'm being honest. There's YouTube videos on Who Moved the Cheese. Actually, it's good. I like the graphics. I like the video. I'm just telling you.
So he likes the cartoons.
I like the cartoons. But it is a good book in terms of, change. You can't be stagnant or you can't be comfortable in your own spot. If you want something different, you got to change something.
You got to do something different. Yeah.
That's a great read or viewing.
Something interesting too, actually, I was discussing this on Thursday with someone, is, and we're going to get to the actual topic in a second, but you work hard at your JOB, right? You fight traffic, you get home, and what do you do on your couch? Right? You go and you slouch, and you're comfortable, and what happens when you slouch and you get into that position? Well, you become tired, your breathing becomes shallow, and you are basically just
a sloth.
You're just relaxed. It's very hard to be productive, alert, and driven when you're in that position. I can't do a call when I'm in that. Can I do this podcast laying down? No, it'd be terrible.
No,
right? I couldn't do it. So in the 15 minutes of productivity, because it only really starts with 15 minutes. If I went to the gym for 15 minutes a day, if I ran for 15 minutes a day, I'd lose a shit ton of weight. Anyone would, right? So it's only 15 minutes can make a huge difference. So, and there are going to be people around you that are going to be negative, like crabs in a bucket trying to pull you down. And I'm sure you've had people in your life that are like that.
100%.
Do you?
Oh, I had. That's really the
right. So how do we? And I think eliminating those people or recognizing that they're not really after your best interest. Now, again, some people, might not share or be as excited for you, and some of those people have your last name.
Yes.
And you have to be very delicate sometimes and on how to put those blinders on and really focus on your dreams. Because if you don't follow your dreams, like I said before, you're going to work for someone that did, and you deserve to take that time for yourself. And you should take time for yourself in order to achieve that. So how did you handle eliminating?
Well, the first thing is I had to realize that that's what I needed to do. So for a while, I would ask myself, why aren't I successful? And I always thought success equaled money. And that was probably the first mistake I made. And once I realized that, when I was talking with really successful people, I started noticing that they were hanging around other successful people. And so I said, okay, let me look around me and see who's successful. And even though I was, broke, I was the most successful one of my group. so that was the first trigger saying that I got to make some changes. And it doesn't necessarily mean, so even if your friends are not as successful as you are, it doesn't mean that you have to stop seeing them. It just means that when you want to be productive, you got to make sure that you have a set of individuals around you that are going in the same direction as you from a success standpoint. I, like to be the dumbest person in the room, and it's kind of hard because Frank's always around me, but I didn't. I'm just kidding.
Wow.
I love you. Frank is smart. I'm actually the dumbest person in this room.
Man, we're gonna have to get rid of Gabriel here.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, because I bring you guys down.
Yeah,
but
it's so funny.
And at the end of the day, you have to identify what makes the people around you successful and what isn't. And a lot of the times it's easy to identify just based on the way they speak, the way they act, and it's usually negative energy that they bring to your conversation. Someone who always says, you can't do it, you won't be able to, that's way too hard, it's never going to happen, it's impossible. All these terms that are linked to negativity, these are things that you have to eliminate. And if it means that the people that are saying these things over and over, because if that's all you hear, that's what's going to happen. I mean,
so do you still see those friends that give you that negativity?
I see them, but it's going to be in a limited capacity. So I'll see them once, twice a year, but it'll be around a non-productive event. Let's say I want to go watch, Super Bowl at somebody's house. It's not going to be a productive event for me other than just socializing. That's fine. Like I said, eliminating someone, it doesn't mean you never see them again. It just means that you don't want to have them around when it's time for you to be productive. You don't want them sucking your energy away.
Yeah,
But
energy vampires.
so for absolutely, but for myself, yeah, I would actually avoid some of them. So I was at a point where I had not a lot of friends.
Yeah.
I made new ones, of course, because I
two of
surrounded
us.
myself. Well, I went to different events. Well, yeah, I got two more.
That's it.
Oh, well, maybe one. I don't know about after.
The check didn't clear last
Yeah,
week, so I
the
couldn't be
check
your friend anymore.
So for myself, I found that I got new friends.
Yeah.
I got new friends only because I love what I'm doing. I like to shop talk a lot, and some people don't. My other friends don't. They're just straight minded, whatever. And I used to get ridiculed and say, well, you're nuts or whatever, you work for the government, where the fuck you going, you're not going to do anything, excuse my language. And it was actually pulling me down, like you said, the crabs. And when you're around negativity, you're going to get more of it, you're going to attract more of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally had to get rid of some of those. I think I told you in one of my previous podcasts, I literally took the stairs 9 flights every day to avoid people like again, they're people. It's not, I don't wish ill to them. It's just I didn't want to even say, hey, how's it going? Because as soon as I open that, hey, how's it going?
The cancer spread.
Yeah, another 7 more years,
Yeah.
another 8 years, 500,
2,643
7
more
days and 15 hours. It's like they got it down to
To the minute.
They got it down to the minute. So going back to the friends, you meet new ones and you go out and you have different interests with them. And yeah, you don't want to be the smartest one in the room. You don't want to be the smartest one in the group. So for myself, I eliminated a lot of toxic people, and some of them were my family. Sadly, it's just always negative, like negative for everything, not just in business, or it's just negative in life. They just want you to be miserable because they're miserable. They don't want you to see. They don't want you to see you doing better. That's what it is.
Yeah.
They go, no, don't do it, because they want everyone to be on the equal level. Because if you flourish, they're like, oh, look at him now.
Exactly.
So everyone wants you to stay on the same plane level.
There's a lot of signs, right? It's like symptoms that you see. Jealousy.
Yep.
If someone is really jealous of other people's success, you ever hear someone say, that guy got lucky, that's why he's rich, or that guy got lucky, that's why he was able to be successful. He comes from money. There's so many signs that point to it, and I guess the more you become successful, the more you start noticing these symptoms. It's very clear. It's easy to see, and you can actually read someone even in the first conversation. I don't know if this happened to you, but you can tell right away if this is a person that you want to see again or not, based on the way they speak, the way they act, and the way they communicate. So, I mean, jealousy. Is there any other signs that you guys see that you can tell?
I want to, if I can just jump in for a second. I want to liken this to sports.
Yeah,
All right, you like sports, I think.
I love sports.
Right, you're a Raptors fan, and
Yes.
you're a new Orlando fan.
A closet Orlando fan.
Yes, a closet.
It didn't come out yet.
We all like sports, right? So in sports, they're the players on the that are on the field, all right, or on the court or on the ice.
Sure.
It's,
Yeah.
Whatever. There's the players, there's the fans, and then there are reporters, right? So you're going to have all three classes of people in your life. So the reporters, what's their job?
To report.
To report. What's their objective?
To have readers or listeners or viewers, whatever the case may be, and they got to give, usually negative news is what brings that out.
So they have to report on what's happening, what's going on, and have drama and all the good things, the bad things, this is great, and it's mostly negative, right?
Like the
But
news.
how committed, so if the reporter is there, how involved were they in the win or the loss of the game? The reporter.
Zero.
What's their commitment level?
There's 0% commitment.
What's their risk level?
Zero. They don't
Zero.
care.
So there's going to be reporters in your life that are going to be reporting on what's going on and always having these opinions. We'll call those reporters for now. By the way, it's the first time I ever even say this in my life.
Yeah.
But it makes sense.
All right.
Yeah.
Then we have the fans. Right. And what do the fans do?
Some support.
They cheer you on. They give you
They cheer, or they
Boo.
throw
Or they
popcorn, or they do whatever.
Yeah, tomatoes.
They have we're paying you $2 million a game. What the fuck? Aren't you doing better? And those are the fans.
Yes.
Right? And what is their involvement in the outcome of the score of the game?
Zero.
Well, their involvement is zero, other than.
And what's the risk?
They're whatever they pay to go see it, if they're there.
To win the game.
No,
the risk
zero.
is I'm
Zero.
talking
Zero.
risk in the game, the
no,
actual
zero.
game.
Risk in the game is zero.
There's no risk, right? There's no risk. So
Like
whether the fan
passengers
is
on a
there,
train.
if I go to a game or I'm not there, the outcome is going to be the same.
Correct.
Now let's talk about the players,
Yes.
Okay.
right? The players, they're on the field, they're on the court, they're on the ice. And did they have to earn their position to be there?
Absolutely.
Did they have to work their asses off in order to get there?
Oh yeah.
Do
Especially.
they get paid?
sports.
And do they give it their 100,000 million% every time they're on the ice or on the court or on the field? The answer is yes, right? So do you want to be a player? Do you want to be a fan? Or do you want to be a reporter?
Yes.
And I think understanding as people are communicating with you, and what are you right now? Are you a player on the field, or are you just being a fan? Or are you just being a reporter, talking about what everyone else is doing versus actually doing it yourself? So I think by separating, I'm not even sure if this is an example that holds any water, because
That
it
doesn't
literally
make
just
sense.
came out of my ass. But if this makes sense, then understand which one of those three players, or three positions, I should say, do you want to be in your life?
And to kind of add to that, once they're off the ice or off the field, do you think that the players hang out with the reporters when they go out and with the fans, or do they hang out with other players, other successful athletes, even if it's cross sports? And so ask yourself that question. And it's the same thing in your life, whatever it is that you do or you want to do. In our case, real estate, we hang out a lot with real estate guys that are going the same direction and that have big plans, and we see how we can help each other out.
Or other business people, because we, whether it's real estate or building houses, or which is also real estate, or planes, or even marijuana. So I got a text the other day of someone that has
Excess stock.
18,000 pounds of stuff that they don't know what to do with. So, and it's a problem. And if we create solution, then there's millions of dollars that come out of it, and that's the point.
Correct.
So you start attracting different things, and how. I saw this once, and I thought it was interesting. Someone basically said to someone else, and I saw this interaction happening, and I tried it. I had to change my voicemail on my phone because I was very docile. Mm-hmm. Right? I really didn't have the.
For those of you who don't know what that means, it means submissive.
Yes.
Okay.
We just had this conversation yesterday. That's why we're all laughing. It's like the inside joke right now. So I was very docile. I had no balls. My balls were basically just, I didn't understand where my power was. I come from a very submissive background. I had no dominance whatsoever. I couldn't stand up for myself. I was very docile. I was extremely beta versus alpha in my behaviors. And these are these are behaviors that you can learn. So I was very docile, so I didn't really like confrontation at all. So on my voicemail, I basically had a recording, which is, hi, I'm making big changes in my life. If I don't call you back, you're one of them.
You did not.
Beep, 100%. And that's how I got rid of the toxic people in my life.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Never tried that.
So that's the docile, passive-aggressive solution.
You went from one extent to the other there.
That's docile. I don't want to have to talk to them.
Yeah,
I'm avoiding the people that I don't want to talk to, which is exactly that.
So you got a new phone number for your new friends.
Well, that's why my number changes.
Do we have that number?
Yes, I think
Which
so.
one do we have?
Well, my voicemail says now.
Yes.
So my voicemail was that for a very long time, and people hear it and they go, "Wow," just like that. And I suggest that you try it to get those negative people out of your life. But at the end of the day, you can't surround yourself with negativity because negativity breeds negativity. You can't take two negatives and actually make it into a positive. That works in math, but not necessarily in life. The more negative that you are surrounding yourself, negativity that you're surrounding yourself with, the harder it's going to be for you to really punch out of that and succeed, unless you're really good at focusing and tuning people out. And that's why having that 15 minutes a day, reading that extra book or a passage of a book, or just developing the ideas that you have, getting help to develop your ideas, because at the end of the day, an idea is worth nothing unless it's taken action on.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to surround yourself with the right group of people. And if you don't know where to find them, there's tons of meetup groups.
Yeah.
Tons. Just go online and there's tons of meetup groups where you can interact for free.
Yeah.
For free with people of like mind that are, they leave their shitty family behind. I'm going to say shitty family because I have some of those people in my life that are like, like all they want to do is, you have some friends where when they call, it's going to be one of three things. They want to ride to the airport, they want to borrow some money, or they want to help you move something.
They call you when they need something,
Yes.
but they don't call you ever again. They only call you when you need something. We all have those friends or acquaintances.
But I'm glad you brought that up with growing is basically your environment. So you say, so your success will depend on who you surround yourself with, your environment.
Yes.
So there was a story, I remember, I forgot who it was, forgive me, but there was a story about a fish, the koi fish, or even a goldfish actually. So if you have a goldfish and you have a goldfish bowl, I guess, and it's small, and you have two fishes, they'll only grow like an inch, maybe 2 inches or whatever.
Yeah.
But you take that same fish and you put it into a bigger pond or a bigger aquarium, and they'll grow bigger because they're growing proportionate to their environment. And that's the same thing you're talking about. Is you want to surround yourself. You want to surround yourself with, number one, people that are positive in your life and not just following you for those three criteria, but you want to be in an environment where you can actually grow. And the koi fish example, I remember it always stuck with me. And that's where I changed my life on that. It's just thinking positive. When there is negative, you're gonna have negative people around you, but how you handle it and how to put a spin on it and just think positive. Like the shit's gonna happen. Shit happens every day. But what you do,
how you deal with
it is crucial, because it's not all roses and blue skies and sun or whatever.
Well, here's the thing: is when shit happens, if you start worrying about there's nothing you can do. It's out of your control. The shit happened already. The only thing you can control is what you do next.
Yes,
right.
And I was terrible at that. Well,
we all were to a certain extent.
What if this happens? What if that happens? What if this happened? I was so what ifs and buts and whatever.
That comes from what?
That comes from the way you grew up, the environment.
It's fear. It's fear, and fear comes from ego.
But who instills fear? That's something that you've seen all your life.
It comes from your ego, where your own inner. Your little guy inside, right? That's basically still 12 years old or whatever. How old because our subconscious mind is running a program of some kind. All of us run some sort of program that's based on whatever that is, and our ego is generally fear-based, right?
It's the fear of unknown,
because your
Marco.
subconscious is designed to protect you, right?
Yes.
So, and if you don't know something, then you think
And
automatically that it's dangerous.
It's always based in fear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And understand that there's always and everything that you're doing now, anything that you've ever done that has value has been terrifying the first time. Everything. Going to school for the first time, you didn't want to go. And we'll talk about school and
Driving a car, going your first vacation,
First
going to a
date,
foreign
first
country,
kiss.
first date, first kiss.
immigrating to a different place, going on a vacation somewhere, hopping on a plane for the first time,
Getting married.
getting divorced. Shit, I could do that in my sleep now.
Yeah.
So,
I'm still scared to try.
It's the fear of unknown. That's what it is. It's
it
the
is.
fear of unknown. But once you do it once, you're like, all right, shit, that wasn't bad.
yeah, it was fun.
So it is all in our head. But I was just as guilty. I was.
But there's ways of dealing with this, and it's like everything else. It's small steps. Find something that you're afraid of, even if it's something that's just. I'm not saying go jump out of a plane if that's something that you're scared of heights, but if you're scared of something that most people do, just go and try it. If you're scared of water, just get in a pool. Stay in the shallow end and get in the pool, and you'll see that it's fine. And start over and keep going.
Like Fear Factor.
Yeah.
I know the one at Universal over here. I think it's Universal. They do Fear Factor, and they get someone that has a fear of snakes or
Phobia,
fear of whatever phobia, and they confront them with their fear. So when you confront your fear, that's when you overcome it.
It's called leaning into it.
Yeah.
You gotta lean into the fear.
into it.
Fear, is fail forward fast.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many things that we've discussed, so many little things that we could really expand on. But at the end of the day, understand that anything that you're afraid of, you have to ask yourself, number one, why, and is it serving you or is it stopping you from moving forward in your life and the things that you want? Are there negative people around you that are pulling you down like crabs in a bucket? Are you surrounded by reporters? Are you being a reporter? Are you being a fan? Or are you being a player? And if you're not being a player, you need to switch to player mode real fast.
And that's super important because you can't fix what's around you if you don't fix yourself first.
Yes.
You got to deal with you. There's no way you can help someone else. And I don't know if you mentioned this on another episode or if it was just when we were talking, but when you're in an airplane and they're giving you all these instructions if shit hits the fan and these oxygen masks come down, if you're even with your child, what's the first thing they tell you? They don't tell you to put the mask on them first. They tell you to put the mask on yourself first and then put the mask on someone that you need to help because you can't help them if you can't breathe. It's that simple. It applies to every facet of life. You have to help yourself first.
And you know what I found actually when I got rid of the toxic people in my life? I find that the people that did remain, that had my real phone number, it actually grows. It's contagious. Positivity, like negative,
you attract better people.
Is contagious like a cancer, but so is positive. And the way you speak when you go out with them, or even on the phone or whatever, when you go to a conference, when you go wherever, it just rubs off on people like that. And it's a positive thing. So it's actually contagious both sides. It's contagious negatively and positively.
And when we get together, it's a lot of fun and we get a lot done. It's productive, and this is why we like enjoy working together. At least I do. I don't know about these guys, but I enjoy. My day goes by so much better, faster, more productivity when I'm surrounded by people that I actually enjoy working with. Now, I understand that not everyone has that choice at first, but I've worked very hard in small little increments and bursts to be able to take those 15 minutes to put the blinders on, educate myself to a point where I can do something with the information that I'm going to get in order to change my life. Do that 15 minutes a day. Go to the gym for that 15 minutes a day. Do a mental gym for 15 minutes a day. Send out 15 minutes worth of emails, offers on properties. Now, luckily in our business, you can actually buy a property in 15 minutes a day.
Yeah.
No problem. As long as you do it in the right productive way, not analyzing, having paralysis through analysis on everything that you're doing. If you have it, if you follow the right structures.
And just to be clear, in that 15 minutes, it doesn't mean that you're buying, necessarily just a small house. You can buy a small house, like you can buy a shopping center, like you can buy a hotel in the matter of 15 minutes. It's just the way you do it and how often you've done it. The more you practice, the more you'll be able to get in that same 15 minutes.
How far can you get in your car in 15 minutes?
As fast as you drive.
Right. And if you do a 15-minute drive every day where will you be able to drive to? We're in Florida right now. If I only drove in increments of 15 minutes a day, could I eventually get to California?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's the point. Small steps make big differences.
So what did you want to do? What did you want to leave something with them?
Yeah, like, this is what you should do. You do a couple of things, write down a list of, just start thinking about it. Write down a list of the people that are in your direct entourage, and, start separating them between who's a reporter, who's a fan, and who's a player. And the next time you want to have a get together at your house, or the next time you want to, have a social event, have one with the negative people, and kind of, have a mental recording of what the conversations are around and what you hear, and then go have one with the people that you consider smarter than you or players, and see the difference. And you'll see why the more you hang out with the players, the more likely you are going to become a player. It's going to happen. If you hang around rotten apples, you become a rotten apple. You have to hang out with the good apples to stay a good apple, or to even become a better apple.
Okay, but Gabe, on that side too. So if you're going to do that exercise and do a list of who's the fans, who's the reporters, and who's the players.
Sure.
I want to add to that by pick one place that you haven't been. So go on Google, look for a business conference, look for a real estate investment group, look for anything to do with what your passion is and your business, and go to that. And start talking to the people there. Just mingle. You got nothing to you really got nothing to lose. I love it when they break out and you talk to people. And I know some of you are shy, whatever. But once you start talking, there's people with the same level of thinking and the same.
But even if you're shy, like somebody there will not be shy, and they'll approach you because they're already in that.
But even if you're shy, because I was shy, I still consider myself shy. It's So when I was shy, and I still consider myself shy, the question is really? Do I want to be shy? Is it more valuable for me to be shy, or more valuable for me to talk to just one person? So in my shyness, what I did is I went to the first person that I could find and say, I'm extremely shy. I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone. I'm terrified to talk to you. Let's talk. Help me. And I know that it comes from a place of vulnerability, and it comes from a place of authenticity, that I'm shy and I want to get into this business, but I just need some help. And then you'll start having a conversation around that or something else. And then the next thing you know, you're going to do that again. And next thing you know, you're very comfortable talking to these people that are in a group, and every single one of these people will either be a reporter, they'll either be a fan, or they'll be a player. And at first, you're going to want to talk to the reporters or the fans, and then you're going to talk to some players, and then some of the players will start, connecting, and then you'll start having. But understand that you have to have player behavior in order to get player results. Mm-hmm. If you start talking to someone and all they do is bitch, complain, and moan, who are they? They're either fan or reporter. Oh, did you hear about this person? They did this. They hear about that person. They did this. What's that? That's a reporter. They're reporting on what's going on with everything else.
Well, it's simple, because if they're talking to you about someone else, imagine what they're going to do when you're not around.
Yeah, that would be the challenge for you guys listening is yes, make a list of who in your life right now, in your environment. Remember the koi fish thing. In your environment, who's the fan, who's the player, who's the...
And it's not going to be easy, because some people that you really love might be in there, right? Some people, it's their spouse. Like it's like I've seen some of my friends that their spouses are energy suckers, and that's a hard decision for someone to make.
But you're not cutting out your spouse. But like I said before, when you're positive and you have that positive mentality, it's contagious. So your spouse will eventually come along.
Or not. But I think identifying is the first step.
100%.
So I think identifying first. So if you're listening to this and getting any value of this, identify those that are positive in your life and those that are negative in your life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, if you want more positivity, then gravitate towards those groups of people. Mm-hmm. And if you want, if you're more on the negative side, then we're going to gravitate towards, you're going to start going towards those negative people. But if you also, there's a danger there. So be careful, because there's a lot of rah, we're all positive. We all, they've watched The Secret 684 times, and they can talk. And if you haven't seen The Secret yet, just you can watch it once. It's about the power of positivity and how you can manifest things by being positive. But the challenge is positivity without action is just is basically just being a fan at that point.
Yeah, it's a waste of time.
Right? So there's a lot of positive fans, but you can be cheering, but it's the player that's actually going to make the moves. The player makes all the risks, and it's the person that takes the risk that gets the reward. So you have to be willing to risk in order to reward. And all risk is getting out of that very comfortable area where your reaction is going to be, this is very uncomfortable to get out of, but the second that you're out of it, you're going to see positive change.
And when you do that, your environment keeps growing and growing and growing.
Your
and you're
fish
going to
tank
grow
is
with
bigger.
it. Yeah, your fish tank's going to be much bigger, and you're going to grow with it.
So, in closing, what must be done? What should the listener be listening to? What should the listener be doing to get the most out of this episode?
They should be, like we said, they should be identifying the fans and or reporters in their lives, and they should identify the players in their lives, and they should start gravitating closer to the players. Have I don't know, depending on your situation,
What
but
happens if
have a
there's no
social
players?
event. Huh?
What if
What happens if
there's
If there's no
players?
players, then do what you
I
said.
had very little players.
Yeah.
After I went through my list, I was
Then
like,
you join player groups, and player groups are usually in the form of investor groups, anybody
Meetup groups,
yes,
investor
there's
groups.
conferences. That's where I went.
Yeah,
Facebook
conferences.
has pages and pages of different, and look who the interactive people that are actually doing things, not the commenters. Those are the reporters.
Yes.
So the people that are commenting the most usually do the least.
the posters.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what I love doing? So when I went to...
I don't want to know what you're doing.
Not that kind of show. But...
That's another podcast.
Well, going out to the business conferences, I did that in my hometown. But you know what? The biggest leap was when I actually left Toronto and I went to, I think my first place was LA. And I was like, holy shit, I was really out of my comfort zone
No
there.
kidding.
But
Yeah.
it was LA, it was a big conference, there was like hundreds of people there, whatever. But I loved it and it was so contagious. I went to Dallas after that, then I went to Chicago. So if you're able to do that, start in your own backyard and then expand your environment. Go pick a conference in stateside or in Canada if you want to go to Canada, but whatever.
Why would anyone ever want to?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Some people want to go to
But
Canada.
you know what? It's amazing because when I think about like you two are like some of my best friends, and we're not even we're a 6-hour drive apart, you and I, and we're like a 4-hour flight, 3.5-hour flight with Marco. That's what's amazing about this.
I met you guys through
Conferencing or whatever.
conference.
Yeah.
That's where I met you guys, and I met a lot of other people that I'm
Because
close
if you're in
friends
your
with.
home on your computer, you're limited to your home. You're limited to the people that are gravitating around you. There's a whole world. There's like what are we, like 6 billion people, 7 billion people in the world? Like there's amazing people out there. Go out and meet them, and amazing things will happen to you in your life. I guarantee it.
Good words of wisdom.
If you like this episode of Big Fat Real Estate Checks, then show some love by leaving a comment and a good rating. Also, as a thank you for tuning in today, we've got a special free gift. The journey to passive cash flow for a life starts by finding deals, and it's easier than you think. Simply go to getdealsbytuesday.com, enter your email address, and we'll send you a free quick start course called Deals by Tuesday. Even if it's 11 p.m. Monday night, this course will show you how to find discounted real estate deals by Tuesday. It's that fast and simple. Go to getdealsbytuesday.com and start your journey toward life-changing cash flow today. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode.